Hi, my name is Jerry. I am a registered Kundalini yoga instructor. I am an energy healer and I do energy medicine. I am a Reiki master. So I am super excited to talk about this topic today. It is the chakra basics. So we're going to go over the basics of the chakra. So this is called the subtle body anatomy. So it is corresponding to a lot of the physical things that are going on in your body, but it's considered more of the energetic things. Not to go too high school on us, but I think it's very important when we are talking about energy that we understand this. So your body, everything is made up of an atomic makeup. And an atom is basically a swirling ball of gas. I kid you not. Google it. It's a swirling ball of gas. And it has it has protons, which are positive. It has neutrons, which are neutral. And then it has electrons that are negative. And so you have this positive, neutral, negative, all kind of swirling together and working together in order to create the physical body. However, again, when you look at what creates the physical body, it's balls of gas. So let's talk about the energy. This is the energy. This is the unseen. This is, what has kind of been considered witchy in the past, right? You can't prove it. It's just an ideology. And so when modern science kind of took over, a lot of times we lost this more energy aspect or the aspect of the unseen. And chakras is a great way to really get connected to it. So hopefully that kind of helps you understand a little bit from a physics standpoint what energy is. And I will explain to you further what the chakras are or the subtle body anatomy is. And again, as you start to learn more about the energies, chakras are there are more than I'm going to talk about. Again, this is going to be the basics. Your physical body has an energetic makeup that almost is like alongside of that physical body. So, all right, so let's jump in. The chakras. Chakras in Sanskrit means wheel or vortex. Chakras are believed to move in circular patterns, and there are 7 main chakras. And FYI, in case anybody didn't see this, there's recent research right now in the medical community that they're actually thinking the heart is not a pump. They actually think how the heart works is it works in a vortex. So that's even witchier, right? Like yoga has been talking about how vortexes and wheels are super important within the body and how the heart is a very important vortex. So it's very interesting that modern science is starting to also see that. So something to go out there and look at. There are 7 main chakras, and there are thousands. There are thousands. So we're only going to focus on the 7 main to get started. This is just the basics. So there are physiological functions. So it provides fresh energy, removes excess or stagnant energy, and they influence the overall health of the body. The psychological function. So each chakra is associated with a psychological theme. So the root chakra is actually associated with survival, safety, and trust. And it's actually located here at the base of the spine, down by the pelvis. And then we have the spiritual function. The energy or the soul is the driving force to why we are all here, to learn, to grow, and to express ourselves in this reality, to really just express ourselves, right? Energetically, it's just amazing. And one way that we do this is through the subtle body. Think about this. They say that communication is 80 to 90% nonverbal. Then what are you reading? You're reading the energy. You're reading how somebody says something to you, how they look at you, how are their arms crossed? Are they seeming to be closed off? Nonverbal communication is just like energy. In physics, energy is just that. It's information that we're gathering. So really, really cool witchy stuff. I just love it. Okay, so the 7 main chakras, the chakras function best, obviously, when we are balanced. We'll talk later about how to balance out your chakras. And out of out of balance chakras, they can actually result in physical, emotional, and mental imbalance. And I will tell you this, I know this for sure because I experienced it when my chakras were off. I almost experienced every single imbalance, and we'll go through the imbalances. And it's been really a progression for me to get myself back into balance. So let's go ahead and start from the crown. We're going to start just above the head. This is the Sahasrara, or the crown chakra. I know is what it's associated with. The Ajna, or third eye chakra. It's located right here between your eyebrows, and it's associated with I see. The Shuddha, or throat chakra, is associated with I speak. Anahata, or heart chakra, is I love. Manipura, or solar plexus chakra, is I do. Svadhisthana, or sacral chakra, is I feel. Muladhara, or root chakra, is I am. Okay, so we're going to look at each chakra and then the color it's associated with, and then what it represents, and then what happens when we're imbalanced in this chakra. So the crown chakra, again, is going to sit right here at the top of your head. The color is associated is violet or white. It represents higher consciousness, divine and spiritual connection, wisdom, and enlightenment. Imbalanced, it can lead to closed-mindedness, disconnected from spirit, lack of purpose, and lack of direction. Third eye chakra is associated with the color indigo. It represents vision, perception, intuition, foresight, imagination, and insight. If it is imbalanced, you may feel stuck, lack of clarity, judgmental, anxious, disconnected from your intuition. Throat chakra, it's associated with the color light blue. It represents clear and effective communication, self-expression, and desire for truth. If it's an imbalance, you may be withdrawn and shy, arrogant, anxious, difficult to express. Heart chakra is associated with the color green. It represents love, harmony, relationships, joy, inner peace, compassion. Imbalanced, it can lead to depression, grief, anger, hatred towards others and yourself, jealousy, and unforgiveness. Solar plexus chakra, it's associated with the color yellow. It is represented by willpower, personal power, motivation, responsibility, self-esteem, and pleasure. So if this is imbalanced, anger, control issues, low self-esteem, undecisive, and misuse of power. So you probably have seen throughout the world, we have a huge problem with misuse of power, control issues, low self-esteem. These are all solar plexus issues. So really getting that strengthen of core, because it's just below your breast line, so right above your belly button and between your breasts, that is your core. So really strengthening your core, or your solar plexus, will help to make sure that you have more willpower, personal power, motivation, responsibility, self-esteem, and pleasure. So this is a big one for a lot of people, the solar plexus chakra. Sacral chakra is associated with the color orange. This is sexual energies, creativity. Again, creativity isn't all about creating a child. When we talk about the sacral chakra, a lot of times people think about the womb chakra, so it's only to create children. However, that can be so much more. That can be creative energy. That can be art. That can be dancing. That can be recipes. That can just be anything that you want to do in order to bring creation into the world. You can use those energies to create. You don't always have to use your sexual energies to create children. If you, okay, so it represents also emotionality, passion, and creation. So imbalanced, emotional instability, sexual dysfunction, repressed creativity. See, that's what I'm saying, repressed creativity if you're not able to bring the creativity from your sacral chakra, fear of change, and addictive behavior. Root chakra, the colors associated is red. It represents security, safety, survival, and the foundation of our basic needs. So this is really the foundation. It's supposed to be the first chakra, and it goes up from 1 all the way up to your crown chakra. If this chakra is imbalanced, you could see anxiety, fears, an imbalance in general, restlessness, codependency, and also feelings of abandonment. So a lot of these imbalances can be rooted in us in our childhood by a multitude of factors, really. You have household, you have political, you have social, you have environmental. Also, let's be honest, a lot of us are not just like raised by our parents, but we may have like bigger families and we all kind of like take turns raising children. So a lot of times children are getting conflicting information, conflicting ideologies from a lot of different people as they're growing up, which can cause a lot of imbalances here, right? So for an example, when you're looking at like trust and things, a lot of children don't trust themselves because they're often told by parents that they're doing something wrong instead of actually just teaching the children how to do something correctly. We use corrective behavior first, tell them they're first wrong, and then move on. So this can actually have an impact on a person's ability to trust their intuition, because most of their life they might have heard that they were wrong or they were doing something different. A lot of times can happen too in childhood when you have parents and children that are like astrologically not mixed very well, so they may be their own challenge together. You'll oftentimes see that we need to learn and grow in our lifetime, so parents are perfectly matched to children in order for the particular lessons for that parent to learn through the child, and that child to learn the lessons that they learn through their parents. So it's honestly just a revolving way of growing and learning and figuring out how to get ourselves into balance. Triangles of the chakras. Chakras function best when they are balanced. Out of balance chakras can result in a physical, emotional, and mental imbalance. So let's first look at the lower triangle. So we're going to look here at this little red triangle that's going down. It's got the yellow, the orange, and the red. So that's going to be the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root chakra. This is concerned with the physical survival of your body. So processing food, energy, reproduction, and elimination. So when we look at the top half that's represented by this blue triangle, this is going to include the Vishuddha, the third eye, and the crown chakra. This is tapping into the energy that's beyond the physical survival, tapping into humanity and uplifted consciousness and connecting to something that is larger than ourselves. So really on the spiritual forefront, being able to connect to the energies. The heart, you'll notice the heart's kind of on its own, right? And the interesting reason as to why this is because yogis believe that this is actually the bridge. This is what can bridge our more animal, like just live survival to our more conscious and higher self. And so we do need to make sure the lower triangle, actually, a lot of times when we do work and you are starting out, we do a lot of lower triangle work first. And that's because you have to unlock and open up from the very beginning, from the root, in order to actually get to the stem of the tree, right? So we're really having to water and take care of ourselves, in that kind of like tree example. We're having to take care of ourselves so we can just blossom and just be beautiful. Yogis believe that we are in the human body for a reason, and that's to liberate the soul. So they do believe in reincarnation. It's something I've always believed in, even when I was a child. So I do think that we are here to learn lessons, and when we actually learn those lessons, we can either, join in the next spiritual function that we have. So for some people, this might be like heaven, angels. There's a multitude of different ways that you can think about this, but it's just liberation from the human body and being able to be with our spiritual brothers and sisters, however that may be. And then also yogis use their bodies to heal, uplift, and serve others. Chakras and associated organs. So let's start off at the top. We have the pineal gland, which is associated actually with two chakras. The pineal gland is part of the endocrine system, but it sits in the nervous system. So as you can imagine, that's why it's also got two chakras, because it's so intricately connected. It's the third eye chakra and the crown chakra. The pituitary gland is the third eye and the crown chakra as well, similar situation. And then the hypothalamus, this one is only considered crown chakra, even though it still sits in there alongside with the pineal and the pituitary, but that is just how yoga has broken it out. So the eyes and the nose are actually considered the third eye chakra. So if you have any eyes or nose problems, those are actually associated here with your third eye. Mouth, throat, thyroid, that would be a throat chakra. You have the thymus, lungs, and heart, which would be a heart chakra. Liver, adrenals, pancreas, spleen, stomach, gallbladder is all solar plexus chakra. So look in the world today, right? What do we have a lot of problems with? We have a lot of liver problems, adrenal and kidney issues, diabetes from pancreas, spleen with the metabolism, being able to metabolize, stomach to be able to process things, and gallbladders. There are a great deal of issues that you see within our societies just located here in the lower triangles of the chakras. So again, the lower triangle of the chakra is very important to work on. The small intestine, the large intestine, the bladder, and the uterus are the sacral chakra. And then you have the root chakra. So this is going to be like the reproductive organs, but then also you have like the vagina, the rectum, the prostate, the cervix, everything that just kind of makes up those components. Okay, so clearing your chakra. There are just so many ways that you can balance and clear and influence your chakras. I mean, it's not even on this list, but even just to ground, you can go outside, take your shoes off, and literally put your feet on Mother Earth. That isn't an energy exchange. You are literally getting rid of old negative energy. I like to think about it this way, if this makes sense to you. In your home, you have a grounding wire, a positive wire, and a negative wire, all that comes through your home, and it goes into the ground. So if your home gets hit by lightning, that electricity isn't going to like fry your whole house. It should go down that grounding wire and get transmuted into the ground, where Mother Earth can actually handle its own energies back. So again, when we think about grounding practice, it's very potent. We can see an example of it in our house. If we're not grounded, the energy is not leaving us to Mother Earth. It's getting stagnant and stuck in us. And what happens if you don't have grounding wire in your house and it gets hit? You don't have any electricity. Everything's out and fried. So it's a very important thing to take care of our chakras. Okay, so you can do some Reiki. You can learn Reiki. You can get Reiki done. This is a form of hands-on healing. So there's multiple other types of, and you can do this to yourself or others. Even massage. When you look at massage, you are working out the knots within the system, which is again just an energetic bottleneck when you have stagnant energy, and that's what hits that trigger point. So even massage is really good for this. Crystals and pendulums. So you can use crystals and pendulums on yourself. So again, chakras flow in a clockwise direction. Counterclockwise generally indicates that you need to either have some clearing done, or maybe your energies are actually flowing in opposite direction, because when we become imbalanced, our energies can actually flow in the opposite direction. So like this is something that can drain your energy. So if you ever feel like you're just super tired, but you're getting enough rest, you're doing everything right in your day, you may need to check your chakras, because what might be happening is your chakras might be moving in an opposite direction, which is taxing your body, and you need to get it moving in the right direction. So crystals and pendulums can actually be used to help the flow of energy. And also it's a cool little witchy thing I can show you. You can actually place a crystal or pendulum. Pendulum is basically just something weighted on a string. Okay, so what you're trying to do is you're putting this over top the chakra, and you're going to start to see the pendulum move because it's moving in the energy. So it's either going to move in a counterclockwise, which is indicating maybe an imbalance or a need for a clearing, or it's going to move in a clockwise direction, which is it's moving in a balanced way. But with that, you can watch the movement, right? Watch the energy. So if the energy is kind of sluggish and hard to get going, you may be just needing to have something a little bit more strengthened in order to get your chakras cleared. So many opportunities that we have. And again, I teach this specifically to people because I feel that a lot of times when you do things for others, they're not able to actually understand the benefit. So I do teach people how to clear their chakras versus me actually clearing them, which is why I do a lot of my appointments virtually. Stones. I love stones. I use stones all the time. I put them in my bedroom. I put them in my yoga room. And sometimes when I sit out here, I'll put them out here. It just depends on what you're looking for. There's a multitude of options for stones. So amethyst is one that's really good for the third eye. So when you're trying to work on a lot of third eye stuff, seeing a lot of purple, just like having that recognition, right? You're just tying your brain to something so your subconscious can like, oh yeah, third eye chakra, right? It's that recognition and that just thinking in that subconscious brain. Stones are fantastic because they actually are at the frequencies of the chakras. Do get your stones and your crystals and your pendulums from reputable sources if you can. And the reason that I say this is, again, just like the food and making sure that you get good quality food, it's important to get good quality stones to lay on you. If these are things that are being mass produced, thrown through these polishers and being treated really terribly and then just put on product shelves, it's not going to feel as potent, as awesome as something that has been hand selected and taken care of. So it's really important to look also at the stones that you're using with your chakra clearings. Also, there's a lot of things as far as how to clear the energy from your stones, which again, that's a whole other thing, but it's kind of similar, having to just clear that energy. Sound healing. So there's sound baths. You can do drum circles. You can do, again, like you can listen to music, just make sure it has positive messaging, right? Subconscious brain is constantly learning and it likes patterns and it likes music, right? Music you hear, like even Taylor Swift songs, right? They repeat. They're easy to remember. They're easy to sing. That's actually one thing they cracked about her songs, right? This was on the news a long time ago that they found out that's the secret sauce. It's almost like mantra, right? It's like spell work. Just saying the same thing over and over again, you're just basically getting that in to your subconscious brain. Meridian flows, so you can actually clean. So alongside of chakras, you have something called meridians. These work kind of like a bloodstream. They're almost similar and they go throughout your body and they're associated with organs and associated with their own psychological profiles and physiological profiles. So those are something that are a little bit more advanced, but you do have meridian flows that you can do in order to clear your chakras. And they're actually quite simple. There's a meridian dance and it like takes a few minutes. It's actually pretty nice. Yoga postures or movement exercises, breath work and or mantra, diet and exercise. Again, I cannot tell you how much times I feel that this is missed within the chakras. You can very much so influence your chakras by what you eat. Again, your pituitary gland, your reproductive organs, those are all endocrine. In the last slide, you are able to see all the organs associated with the chakras. As you can imagine, and balancing them with diet and food can really have an impact on the chakra itself. So to influence them, there's a lot of ways you can influence them. They're not directly doing it as far as clearing chakras, but you can influence them and actually maybe even clear somebody's chakras by doing this. So you have something called alarm points, which you can spin crystals over. You can do acupressure points. You can do tapping. So many things you can do with this. You have source points, which are direct energy flows right to the organ. So if you're having a little bit of problems with an organ, we can actually work on source points to send. It's almost just like you're just sending energy directly to it in order to like almost like reset the system to get that energy flowing again. Muscle meridian testing. So this I actually use with a few people. This actually will help you train your intuition a bit too. So you generally just need like a weight, like a hand weight. I don't have one on me, like 2 to 3 pounds, depending on how strong you are and how you want to do it. And we're just going to do small, gentle exercises like this. And what we do is we figure out when you're feeling strong and when you're not feeling strong. And when we're not feeling strong, and this could be on testing an alarm point, testing a chakra, testing something, you're going to be a bit weaker when you come up on the swing to pull it up. Because when you don't have energy, you can feel that. So one way that we'll do this, I really like to use muscle meridian testing and have people do a pull up regular to show how they're normally strong, and then to hold a cell phone in your other hand and do it again. And you'll notice how people almost like struggle or they feel like their arm is just generally more weaker. And that's because things like cell phones actually take our energy away. So this is a way to actually start building your intuition, but also interacting with the energy and be able to see yourself, how the energy works, how the flow works, how you can figure out when your energy is not working well because of something that you're holding or you're doing. So it's really incredible. Energy testing, again, similar concept, but this you can do with the chakras, you can do with the meridians, you can do with the multiple points. Tuning forks. So these are really great. I don't particularly do them, but my massage therapist does this, and they're literally like little tuning forks, depending on your issue. They can put them on your body, and then they just kind of hit that tuning fork with their little mallet, and it vibrates at a certain frequency, and it's supposed to be associated with the frequency of the particular thing that you're trying to fix. So they're really phenomenal. I love tuning forks. And music and frequency, again, you can. So when we talk about like, okay, music and frequency, actually, I want to talk about this one for a second. So like music, you could do like drumming circles. Like, again, we already kind of talked about the sound healing, but the specific part that I'm talking about with frequency here, so you have to go out and Google this. This is so witchy. So when I started going through my energy healing certification, they were talking about how they discovered frequency, like resonant frequency. That's when you hit the same frequency as this object and this object vibrate at the same, and they become in tune. So what they found out is that if they can get this medical device to hit a frequency of rectal cancer, or they do it now to adjust the spine. If you know the frequency of the individual component of a person's body that you're trying to work with, you can actually use frequency to destroy like cancer cells, to destroy tumors, to like literally a guy used it, and this was like years ago. So he's probably in studies and he's doing a lot more than that, right? But he was able to use frequency to adjust his wife's back. So you can Google all of these things. They are available out there. Frequency is very powerful. So thank you so much, loves. I really appreciate you joining me for the chakra basics. If you do have any questions, feel free to comment. Please do subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if this actually helped you. If you hit the like button, it just gives me an idea on if you like this type of content and if this is something that you want to see more of. And if you'd like to book a free consultation with me, or if you'd like to book an appointment, you can go to www.energeticturtle.org. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day.